All right, today's lesson is all about the surface area of a cylinder. Here's a cylinder. It has a diameter of 10 centimeters and a height of 14 centimeters. If you were to flatten this out into a two-dimensional object, you would get the top, which is a circle, the bottom, which is a circle, and the curved part of the cylinder flattens out and gives you a rectangle. And now what we're going to do is we're going to find the area of the circles and the area of the rectangle. So if we're talking about area of a circle, we always use radius. What's the radius of the circle? 5. There's our radius of the circle. We'll figure out the area in a moment. And what is the width of the rectangle? How much is it? 14. Very good. It's 14 centimeters. It is the height of the cylinder. And to figure out the length, as Leland told us, the length is the circumference. And circumference of a circle is either pi times diameter or 2 times pi times r. Now, in this case, it really doesn't matter because we changed the diameter into the radius to help us figure out the area of those circles. So it really doesn't matter which one you use. I guess we'll use pi times diameter. So circumference is pi times diameter, which is what? Very good. Use the pi button on your calculators, and if you multiply pi by diameter, you're going to get 31.42 centimeters. All right, let's figure out the area of these things. Starting with the circles. Area of a circle, the formula for that is pi r squared. Now, the radius is 5, so it's 5 squared times pi. We need to follow order of operations. So that means that we're going to square the 5 first. So that means we're doing 5 squared first. So we're going to get pi times 25. So if we write this down to 2 decimal places, it's 78.54 centimeters squared. Now I just want to point out that's the area of one circle. We have 2 circles. So when we find the surface area, we are going to have to count that twice. And maybe I'll set that up just a little bit below. Because at the final step, we're going to go 78.54, another 78.54 because there's 2 circles. And then we're going to put the area of the rectangle. Now we haven't figured out the area of the rectangle yet. That's our last thing that we're going to do. So let's do that now. So the area of the rectangle is length times width. 31.42 times 14.
439.88
Yep. Which gives us 439.88 centimeters squared. And to no one's surprise, we're going to put that down here too. 439.88. And then we're going to add it to those areas of the circles that we just found. And that will give us the surface area of the cylinder. And I think that gives us an area of 596.96 centimeters squared. That is the surface area of the cylinder. All right. Now, let's look at what the formula is for surface area of a cylinder. The formula is surface area equals 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi r h. And just so you know, the 2 pi r squared part is all about the top and the bottom circles. That's the top and the bottom circles is the 2 pi r squared part. The 2 pi r h part, well, that has to do with the curved part of the cylinder. Okay? So that's the formula for surface area of a cylinder. Okay? Now, we have a cylinder right here. We are going to use the formula to find its surface area. So surface area is 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi r h. Whenever we do a question like this, we need to try and identify what the key parts are. What's the radius in this question?
18.
Very good. And the height?
60.
Sweet. So everywhere there's an R for radius, we're gonna substitute an 18. And everywhere we see an H, we're gonna replace it with a 60. Surface area is 2 pi 18 squared plus 2 pi 18 times 60. Probably the most important thing here is to remember order of operations. There's a whole bunch of multiplying, there's a little bit of adding, and there's an exponent. The exponent comes first. So that means the only thing you should be doing off the next hop is multiplying, or the exponent. So that's 2 pi times 18 squared. 18 squared
324.
is 324. Thank you very much. Everything else stays the same for right now. Now we'll multiply. In order to make this a little bit easier for us, here's what I recommend we do. I recommend we multiply 2 times 324. And when we do that, we get 648 pi. So 2 times 324 is 648 pi. And on the right side, 2 times 18 times 36. Or sorry, times 60. 2 times 18 is 36. 36 times 60 is 2,160. So this is 2,160 times pi. And the way I would explain our next step is this. If you think about it, if I give you 9 apples, and then I give you 7 more apples, you add 9 and 7 together, and you know that you have 16 apples. Now, when we're talking about mathematical pi, we're not talking about food, unfortunately. But when we have 648 pi plus 2,160 pi, we can add those numbers together to figure out how many pies we have. The reason why we might do this is so that we don't have to get a bunch of crazy decimals twice and then have to add them together. It'll save us work. So if we add those numbers together, we are going to get 2,808 times pi, and then we'll work it out at the end. So now, pi times 2808, and we get a surface area of $8,821 and not $21, $21.59. I don't know where the money came from. And the units are centimeters, so it's going to be centimeters squared. That is the surface area.